Imagine walking into a busy sporting goods store right in the middle of New York City. You want to try on some new footwear, but because you stretched out one single vowel sound for like fraction of a second too long.
And your jaw didn't quite drop enough.
Exactly. Your tongue rested just a millimeter too high and boom, you just accidentally asked the cashier for a box of live snake.
Oh my gosh. It completely changes the interaction from, a helpful retail request into a highly dangerous wildlife situation.
It really does.
And the wildest part is, to your own ears, you thought you were saying exactly the right word.
You really did, because you are navigating the invisible, highly unforgiving architecture of a brand new language. So welcome to Acad FM. This deep dive is your essential guide to breaking down those exact communication barriers.
And today we are doing a massive deep dive into the curriculum created by the Academia BSB team of educators.
They are an incredible online English school with a truly unique communication-first approach, specializing in teaching English to Brazilians and Brazilian Portuguese to foreigners.
And today's focus is entirely dedicated to analyzing the latest lesson from Group T262.
That's Sandra, Lúcia, and Paula.
Yes, 3 brilliant adult learners. And for you listening at home, whether you're brushing up on your B1 level English or prepping for a meeting, we are going to extract the absolute best insights from their class notes.
We are diagnosing the cognitive science behind tricky vocabulary, unraveling pronunciation, and exploring the deep, vulnerable psychology of learning to speak all over again.
I love that. Where should we begin?
Let's start with the absolute raw materials, right? Vocabulary. Looking at the current and past class notes for Group T262, there's this fascinating neurological trap that catches Brazilian Portuguese speakers almost every single time.
Oh, false cognates. They are so devious.
They really are.
From a cognitive perspective, when your brain sees a new word that looks identical to a word in your native language, it just takes a shortcut. It lights up an old neural pathway and instantly assigns the native meaning to the foreign word,
which requires active, conscious suppression to overcome. I mean, take the vocabulary from their past class activities, the classic battle between the words parents and relatives.
Oh, right. Because in Portuguese, a word that looks just like parents actually means your entire extended family.
Your aunts, your uncles, cousins, everybody you invite to a massive Sunday barbecue.
But in English, parents is strictly your mother and father. And, as a mom who absolutely loves a big, chaotic family gathering, I can only imagine the shock when you tell an American friend you currently live with your parents.
But you actually meant your 10 cousins and 2 aunts.
The logistics of that house alone.
Right. And they also work through some spatial exercises, specifically the subtle nuances separating between and among, which feels like it should be simple, but the spatial logic is totally different.
It really is. The rule of thumb the teacher provided is brilliant. You use between when you are identifying distinct individual entities, usually 2, but it can be more if they are distinctly separated.
Like, I am sitting between Sandra and Lúcia.
Exactly. But you use among when someone or something is part of a larger, undivided collective. You are among friends.
You're enveloped by the group, not separated by borders. And moving to the current class notes, the teacher provides some beautiful, clarifying synonyms. Like, they define concerned simply as worried.
And the phrasal verb make up as invent.
Wait, I'm so sorry. My clinic pager is actually buzzing right now.
Oh no, is everything okay at the clinic?
Yeah, I am just a bit concerned about a scheduling conflict between Dr. Arantes and the nursing staff. They were supposed to finalize the shift rotations today.
Oh, that sounds stressful.
It is, because someone managed to make up an entirely new protocol that wasn't approved, and now panic is spreading among the administrative team. Just give me one quick second to clear this.
Or take your time.
Okay, handled. I'm so sorry for the interruption.
Please, don't apologize at all.
Yeah.
Because you actually just gave us the perfect real-world demonstration.
Oh, wait, I did.
Yes. For you listening, did you catch what just happened? The vocabulary from the class notes concerned makeup, between and among, just flawlessly integrated into a high-stakes corporate medical scenario.
That is exactly how these words function in the wild.
That is the magic of functional vocabulary.
Yeah.
You don't just learn it for a test, you use it to put out fires at the office.
But knowing the word is only half the battle, you have to physically produce it. Because if we look at the pronunciation review from the past class, English pronunciation for Portuguese speakers is less like reading a book.
And more like trying to play a fretless violin.
Exactly. If your finger or your tongue is off by a millimeter, the entire chord is ruined.
The physical mechanics are astonishing. The past class notes read verbatim Notice the difference in vowel length and consonant voicing. And they give the example of slip versus sleep.
The dreaded vowel stretch.
Exactly. Portuguese doesn't rely on vowel duration to change the fundamental meaning of a word. So when a Brazilian learner encounters slip and sleep, their brain doesn't naturally register that holding the E sound longer is like a matter of life and death for the sentence.
You have to physically train your jaw to hold that tension.
You really do. The text also compares leather to ladder. The TH sound in leather is a vibration right on the teeth, whereas the double D in ladder bounces off the roof of the mouth.
And, of course, the example we started the show with, sneakers versus snakes. The false similarity there is incredible.
The current class notes actually double down on this, focusing on words that are historically problematic for Group T262.
What are the target words this week?
We have away, safety, career, and productive.
Okay, let's break down career for a second. That is a classic false similarity trap, because you'll hear students say, I am focusing on my carrier.
But a carrier is a plastic box you use to take your cat to the vet.
Right. A career is your professional life trajectory. The emphasis shifts entirely. Career. The second syllable holds all the weight.
If we read the sentence provided in the notes, it says, she is building a highly productive career in safety management.
And every single one of those target words requires a completely different mouth posture for a Portuguese speaker.
Hold on, I'm sorry. My screen is flashing with an urgent email from the hospital board.
Oh, is the hospital director away again?
Yes, he's away. And it looks like the board decided to turn down our funding request for the new safety equipment.
Wow, that is going to blow up the department budget if someone gets hurt. We can't build a productive career if we don't have basic safety.
I know. Dr. Silva tried to bring up the critical patient volume to them, but they just ignored it.
That is so frustrating for the medical team. But wait, look at what we just did again.
Oh, we used the pronunciation words, and we slipped right into phrasal verbs.
We did. We organically used away, safety, career, and productive, and we paired them with turn down, blow up, and bring up.
It just proves that these aren't academic exercises. They are the actual pulse of business communication all over the world. Sorry for the corporate drama, everyone.
No, it's a perfect segue into the chemistry of grammar, phrasal verbs.
Yeah.
Because knowing the words blow and up independently doesn't help you when they suddenly crash into each other.
I love the analogy the source text uses to explain this. It compares phrasal verbs to cooking.
Oh, baking bread, right.
Yes. If you take raw flour and water, combine them, and put them in a hot oven, you don't just get hot, wet flour. You get bread. A completely irreversible transformation has occurred.
The ingredients become a totally new entity.
Exactly. When you take a standard verb and bake it together with a preposition or an adverb, the literal definitions melt away. The new meaning is purely idiomatic.
This is where I have to ask about the sheer cognitive load on the learner. The text points out that bring up can mean mentioning a topic, like, are you going to bring up the budget in the meeting? But it can also mean raising a child. It's difficult to bring up children these days. As a mom who deeply values family and child rearing, how do you reconcile that the same verbal ingredients used for corporate budgets apply to raising a human being?
It's all about context and flexibility. And it gets even more complex when we look at the structural rules the teacher provided for the affirmative, negative, and interrogative forms, especially with what they call separable phrasal verbs.
Oh, let's role play this to show how the use of language works in real time. I'll give you the affirmative. I need you to turn down the volume.
Now I'll separate it. I need you to turn the volume down.
Wow, so the direct object, the volume, just physically wedged itself right between the verb and the preposition.
Exactly. Now let's make it a negative interrogative. Didn't they turn down your proposal?
And notice how the meaning completely shifted from lowering sound to rejecting an idea. But here is my fundamental pushback on how these are traditionally taught.
Okay, what is it?
The text explicitly states there is no visual clue to identify a separable phrasal verb. So are students really just expected to memorize thousands of recipes by rote?
Well, initially, yes. Conscious memorization is required. But through massive exposure, reading, listening, conversing, your brain actually develops a syntactic rhythm.
You start to feel the language.
Exactly. Fill me in will intuitively sound correct, while fill in me will trigger this, like, biological cringe because the rhythm is broken.
You know, I just remembered something important. There's an update on EPLAT, our learning platform. Let me see exactly what it was.
Oh, I'm just finishing my coffee. What does it say?
Well, it's a system notification. Just server maintenance for the Academia Campy portal has been completed.
Boy.
Yeah, the digital sticker album synchronization is now fully operational across all devices. End of update.
Wait, the Academia Campy update is live? Oh my gosh, that is fantastic news.
It really is. If you are listening and you struggle with that intense fear of speaking we were just talking about, Academia Campy is the ultimate game changer.
It is a fully gamified sticker album, inspired by the nostalgia of the World Cup, but designed entirely for your English immersion.
It's brilliant. Every sticker you collect represents a piece of the ESL curriculum, complete with QR codes that link directly to hidden challenges, pop culture lessons, and collaborative events.
It completely transforms language learning from an isolating, stressful academic test into a vibrant, shared social hobby. You connect with other students, trade stickers, and build a community where everyone is cheering for your progress.
So if you want to turn your learning into an adventure, you need to check out Academia CCAM MP on EPLAT today.
Okay, stepping back into the curriculum. We've trained the muscles, we've gathered the vocabulary, we've baked the grammar, but that need for massive exposure naturally leads us to the reading comprehension section.
Because reading is where you see all these grammatical recipes put into high-stress action. And the text they studied, Mother's Words, is a psychological masterpiece about the sheer terror of learning.
It is so deeply resonant. We follow a young girl named Emily. She's in the car with her mother, who delivers this incredibly grim, cynical life lesson.
Yeah, her mother says she drives defensively because people are inherently selfish. Quote, they don't care about the people around them, they're only concerned with their own safety.
Fast forward to Emily in her math class. She zones out, and suddenly the teacher, Dr. Lear, whose voice is described with this brilliant simile as being muted and brassy like a trombone, calls on her.
The entire room goes dead silent. The vocabulary the teacher focuses on here is stellar. Emily is described as incapacitated, literally paralyzed.
And she looks around the room imploringly, desperately begging for a lifeline, a whisper, a nod. But every single classmate suddenly stares woodenly down at their textbooks.
Finally, a boy named Stephen answers, the tension breaks, and Emily realizes her mother was right. When you are drowning, the village will look away to protect themselves.
Now, I have to vigorously disagree with the mother's diagnosis here. Yes, I don't think those classmates were being malicious or selfish. I think they were experiencing massive mutual secondhand embarrassment.
Oh, interesting.
They were probably just as terrified of making eye contact with that trombone-voiced teacher as Emily was. It wasn't a lack of empathy, it was shared trauma.
See, I love your optimism. I really do.
Yeah.
But as a doctor, I look at the biological stress response. Under intense public pressure, human beings default to self-preservation.
Oh, the primal instinct?
Exactly. When the spotlight of failure swings your way, the primal instinct is to hide. And that is exactly why adult language learners freeze up. When you try to speak English in a boardroom and you stumble, it triggers that exact same primal fear Emily felt.
You feel incapacitated.
That is a profoundly empathetic way to look at it. You are literally stripping away your primary tool for sounding competent, your native Portuguese, and exposing your vulnerability to the room.
Which is why the Academia BSB environment is so vital. They remove the trombone voice teacher and replace it with a collaborative, supportive community where the village actually helps you.
And you need that village when you face the ultimate test of courage, the writing assessment. Because you can't hide behind a guess in writing.
We get to look at the first and second drafts of Sandra's writing exercise. And Sandra did an incredible job.
She really did.
Her first draft was a story about organizing a picnic birthday party for her twin nieces, Alice and Olivia. She wrote, "I was craving for eating a lot."
You can clearly see the direct Portuguese translation mapping over the English syntax there.
Classic symptoms of language transfer. But the teacher provided this gentle structural correction. "I was craving to eat a lot." It immediately cures the clunkiness.
And her second text is a beautiful, complex narrative about caregiving. She wrote about taking care of her mother, who is recovering from eye surgery, managing the house, and administering eye drops every 3 hours.
As someone with a medical background, I was so impressed by Sandra's ability to communicate that multi-layered clinical and familial situation.
The teacher's feedback focused entirely on structural maturity. Sandra originally wrote isolated, choppy sentences. I returned on Saturday afternoon from my mother's house. I was taking care of my mom.
And the teacher guided her to synthesize them into a flowing narrative. I returned from my mother's house on Saturday afternoon. I had been taking care of her because she is recovering from eye surgery.
It elevates the prose to a truly cohesive, holistic story. And because of her incredible vulnerability and progress, Sandra is being awarded full-point stars in the gamified system.
Awesome. And with her consent, This beautifully polished final version is going to be published on the school student blog at students.academia.bsd.com.br/blog.
A massive congratulations to Sandra, and honestly to all of Group T262. Looking at their final performance metrics, Sandra, Lucia, and Paula are firmly on the trajectory to achieving their CEFR level B1.
For those unfamiliar, hitting that B1 threshold is the golden milestone. It is the exact moment your brain stops frantically translating every word from Portuguese in your head, and you start spontaneously thinking and conversing in English.
And the data proves they are rewiring their brains. Their phonetic errors dropped by 22% when comparing this class to their past assessments.
That means they are physically mastering that fretless violin. They're consistently asking for sneakers, not snakes.
Yes. If you want to fall down your own grammatical rabbit hole, the foundation of today's structural deep dive came directly from the Academia BSB Grammar Phrasal Verbs PDF. It is mandatory reading if you want to understand the chemistry of this language.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to circle back to Emily's terrifying classroom experience. It reminds me of a brilliant quote by E.M. Forster from his 1910 novel, Howard's End.
Oh, I love that book.
The book is a profound exploration of human isolation and the desperate need for empathy in a changing world. Forster wrote, "Only connect," that was the whole of her sermon, "only connect the prose and the passion, and both will be exalted, and human love will be seen at its height."
Wow. Only connect. If Emily's mother was right that the outside world can be cold and self-preserving, then a classroom that teaches you how to truly connect with another human being isn't just an educational tool.
It is the most vital sanctuary we have.
No.
It requires immense bravery to tear down the old walls of your native language and build a new house with invisible bricks.
But you don't have to build it alone, because as they always remind us at Academia BSB, it's not only about the language.
It's all about communication.
Keep building, keep connecting, and we will see you on the next deep dive.